Hi everyone, and welcome back to the AI Research Roundup. I am your host, Alex. Today is July 19th, 2025, and we're looking at a research paper from OpenAI published just 2 days ago called the ChatGPT Agent System Card. This paper introduces a new agentic model, which is basically an AI that can autonomously perform tasks using tools like a web browser or a code terminal. The research details the extensive safety evaluations and risk mitigations for this new system, particularly focusing on its classification under OpenAI's Preparedness framework for potential risks. So a big part of this evaluation is safety. This table details results from what are called production benchmarks, which are challenging, real-world style tests, measuring how well the model avoids producing unsafe content. The metric here, not unsafe, is a score showing how often the model correctly refuses harmful requests. As you can see, the new ChatGPT agent consistently scores higher than the previous OpenAI o3 model across almost all categories, like extremism and harassment. This suggests its new powerful capabilities don't come at the cost of basic safety. But safety isn't just about refusing harmful requests. It's also about factual accuracy. This next table looks at what are called hallucinations, which is when an AI model confidently states something that is incorrect or just nonsensical. Here, the ChatGPT agent is compared against the older OpenAI o3 model. On both the simple QA and person QA tests, the new agent actually has a slightly higher hallucination rate. The authors suggest this might be partly due to the test's grading rubric, but it's an interesting trade-off to see. Okay, so while we see that small trade-off with hallucinations, how does the agent handle more direct attempts to get around its safety rules? This next table, titled Strong Reject, looks at the model's robustness to what are called jailbreaks. A jailbreak is basically a clever prompt designed to trick an AI into bypassing its safety filters. Here, we see the ChatGPT agent and the older OpenAI o3 model performing almost identically. Across categories like violence or hate speech prompts, their refusal scores are nearly the same and very high. This shows that for standard safety tests, the new agent maintains a crucial baseline, performing at parity with the previous model. Now, moving from direct safety attacks to another crucial area, fairness and bias. This table shows results from the Bias Benchmark for Question Answering, or BBQ evaluation. This test specifically measures if a model relies on harmful stereotypes. When questions are ambiguous, the new ChatGPT agent is nearly as accurate as the older OpenAI o3 model. But when the questions are made clearer or disambiguated, the agent's accuracy drops quite a bit. The researchers suggest this is because the agent is being overly cautious and mistakenly refusing to answer, which is an interesting safety trade-off. Building on that point about fairness, this next table offers another perspective. It looks at what's called first-person fairness, using a metric called net bias. Net bias is a score that measures the model's overall tendency to show bias in its responses, where a lower number is better. And as you can see, the new ChatGPT agent, especially when using its tools, scores the lowest. This result suggests a real, underlying improvement in reducing its overall bias compared to previous models, which is a very encouraging development for the system's safety. So given these potential risks, this next table summarizes the specific safety measures in place. It outlines 3 key risk areas. The first is prompt injections, which are clever attempts to hide malicious commands inside otherwise normal requests. To counter this, the team uses a whole range of defenses, from special safety training and automated filters to disabling the agent's memory. For other risks, like the agent making a mistake or a user asking for a harmful task, they rely on user confirmations and a special watch mode for sensitive actions. This layered approach shows a deep focus on practical, end-to-end safety. Zooming in on one of those risks, what happens if the agent just makes a mistake? This table evaluates the mitigations for that specific scenario. It looks at something called confirmation recall, which is just the percentage of time the agent correctly asks the user for a thumbs up before taking an action. For really critical tasks, like completing a financial transaction or editing a file, the agent's performance is stellar, scoring 100%. It also passed all manual tests, designed to prevent it from mistakenly sharing sensitive data. This shows the user confirmation safeguard is highly effective. Alright, so beyond everyday mistakes, the team also looked at much more severe, high-stakes scenarios. This next table gives an overview of the evaluations for biological and chemical risks. They tested the agent on its ability to access sensitive information, including what's called tacit knowledge, which is that hard to explain, hands-on expertise you get from experience. The evaluations range from long-form questions about creating threats to troubleshooting wet lab procedures. A key goal was measuring novice uplift. Basically, could the AI turn a beginner into someone capable of causing real harm? This deep dive shows their cautious approach. Shifting from biological risks, the team also looked at cybersecurity. This chart shows results from Capture the Flag, or CTF challenges, which are basically hacking competitions. The metric here is pass at 12, which is the model's success rate over 12 attempts. As you can see, for the easier, high school level challenges, the new ChatGPT agent performs well. But as the difficulty increases to collegiate and professional levels, its performance drops significantly. Crucially, it shows no major capability jump over previous models, which is a reassuring finding from a safety perspective. Okay, so moving from cybersecurity to another complex technical skill, software engineering. This chart shows performance on the SWE bench, which is a benchmark that tests an AI's ability to solve real-world coding problems, like fixing bugs from actual software projects. The score here is pass at 1, or the percentage of problems solved correctly on the very first try. Interestingly, the new ChatGPT agent scores 62%, which is actually lower than previous models. This result, much like the cybersecurity findings, suggests there isn't a dangerous jump in autonomous capability. So, drilling down on that risk of novice uplift, this table shows the results from a red teaming exercise. That's where experts try to misuse the system to find flaws. Here, they tested if the ChatGPT agent could help a beginner learn to create dangerous biological agents, like aberrin or anthrax. As you can see, the scores for novices with and without the agent are very close. In the case of anthrax, the score is even slightly lower. This result strongly suggests the agent doesn't significantly help a beginner cause harm. So, to wrap things up on the ChatGPT agent system card, the big takeaway is one of cautious, incremental progress. Across complex domains like cybersecurity and even biological risks, the agent shows no dangerous leap in capability and doesn't significantly help a beginner cause harm. The second key point is the robust, multi-layered safety system guided by their preparedness framework, a formal process for managing high-stakes risks. This system seems effective in preventing misuse. That's all for this week's AI Research Roundup. Thanks for tuning in.